Hi, I'm Brian Webb. I serve as Area Director for Pacific Oceania with the Assemblies of God World Missions. Today I want to look at a question again. Could you serve as a missionary in the Pacific? Sometimes people will say to me, I can't be a missionary. I'm too old. You know, when Renee and I first became missionaries 23 years ago, in order to be a candidate missionary with the Assemblies of God World Missions, you had to be under 35 years of age. Their opinion was if you were over 35, you were too old to learn a second language and a second culture. And that ignored a couple of truths. And the first is that with God, all things are possible. And secondly, it ignored the incredible capacity of the human mind to learn new things, irregardless of our age. And it also tragically turned away a lot of missionaries that, by virtue of their life experience, would have been very qualified for the challenges that they would have faced on the mission field. You know, one of the best missionaries that I have ever worked with is Gary and Priscilla Ross. Gary was a retired executive from IBM. Priscilla had worked as a nurse and as a police officer in the United States. And at 65, they moved to Vanuatu, became functional in Bislama, moved 3 hours back into the jungle, and were the primary medical care for over 5,000 tribes people. It was phenomenal to see how God used them in that season of life. My mind also goes to Herb and Karen Johnson. They're 76 years old, and they regularly teach across Papua New Guinea, one of the most remote and difficult countries in the Pacific. So with God, nothing is impossible. So could you, as a retiree, serve as a missionary in the Pacific? It goes back to our mission. In Pacific Oceania, we have one mission. We want to establish the church wherever it is not. So let me give you a few qualifying questions. First, are you a committed follower of Jesus Christ? Second, are you Pentecostal in belief and in practice? And third, are you willing to use your gifts to serve as a missionary in the Pacific? If you feel like God's calling you and feel like He's got something new for you in this season, then I want you to send me a message. I would like to talk to you about where your gifts could best be used, what the length of commitment would be like, what the service would be like. And any questions or concerns that you have, Renee and I would be happy to dialogue with you about this. What we want to know is how God could use you to change the eternity of people in the Pacific.